you for joining me for another episode where we talk about history, culture, and our collective stories as Filipino people. In this video, we will talk about the Babaylan, women or men dressed as women who held powerful positions in indigenous communities long before the Spanish colonizers came to our shore. In the pre-colonial society, there is one person in the barangay who wielded a very influential role. The people call her Babaylan, and it is said that they have the power to contact and interact with the spirits, elementals, and others in the spiritual realm. They can also appease or harness the spirits of the dead and the spirits of nature. Babaylans specialize in healing and herbalism, divination and sorcery. Such was their influence that the datus or the local chieftains would consult them in matters concerning leadership, warfare, agriculture, and virtually everything that runs from the earthly to the spiritual. In the Philippines, different ethnic groups have different names for the Babaylan. For example, while the Visayans generally refer to these shamans as Babaylan, in Hiligaynon or Karaya, they are also known as the Maaram. In Bukidnon, they're called the Baylan. In the Manobo, they are referred to as Baylan. To become a Babaylan, one usually inherits their status from an older Babaylan whom they served as apprentice. There are also those who become Babaylan after experiencing a shamanic initiatory crisis, also known as the shamanic illness or sometimes shamanic madness. This is a serious illness, near-death experiences, sudden seizures and trembling, depression, or unexplainable behavior. For example, one would disappear for several days with no memory of what happened or where she had gone to. It could also be bouts of insanity or strange visions or dreams. They are all considered as encounters with the spirits, where it is the spirit who chooses the person to become the Babaylan. Only when the person heeds to the call and agrees to become a Babaylan will the shamanic illness stop. The initiation rites would then follow, where a trance is induced through herbs or alcohol. Extreme examples of initiation rites could mean getting buried alive or being immersed in water overnight. After the initiation, the apprentice is trained by an elderly Babaylan about the rituals. They are taught to chant, to sing, to sacrifice, and other appropriate things for each spirit. They're also taught local histories, healing practices, and magic spells, and others, or technically everything that a Babaylan should know. Now let's talk about the Babaylan's gender. The Babaylan is predominantly female, but feminized men, also known as asog, in the Visayas, and Bayog in Luzon could also serve as Babaylan. The feminized man usually assumes the voice, mannerisms, hairstyle, and dress of females, and they are already treated as biological women in the community. But there are instances where only through marriage can a feminized asog gain full status as Babaylan. Now, that's gender equality. Babaylans were highly respected members of the community, and in the absence of a datu, the Babaylan usually serves as head of the community. Babaylans were powerful ritual specialists who influence over the weather and call spirits and elementals. Babaylans were held in such high regards since they were believed to possess powers that can block the dark magic or evil forces and heal the sick or wounded. When the Spaniards arrived in the Philippines, they observed how powerful the Babaylan was. They also felt that the Babaylans were the greatest threat in their quest to Christianize and eventually colonize the Philippines. So they waged propagandas that maligned and falsely accused the Babaylans, They called them witches, mistresses of the devil. They also labeled them as brujas, hechiceros, or worst, aswang. The previously high status of the Babaylan was eventually lost. The role of the women and the gender equal pre-colonial society gave way to the patriarchal Spanish culture where women were subjugated by their male counterpart. Also affected by the Spanish hegemony were the feminized Babaylan, who were burned at stake by the Spaniards for their so-called homosexual relations. Even in Islamized territories in Mindanao, feminized men were heavily persecuted or even murdered. As time went on, the practice of Babaylanism became clandestine since they were punished harshly and driven to hiding. Today, the Babaylans' roles have largely been taken over by folk healers who are predominantly men. I hope you enjoyed this episode. For more stories about Philippine history and culture, visit my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, and hit the bell button.